Hi there, my name is Steve Boyko, and I'm going to show you how I import photos into Adobe Lightroom. So the screen should show you right now the Adobe Lightroom just showing an empty folder. And now I'm going to shove the SD card into my computer and we'll see what happens. So the first thing it does is it says select a source. It gives you a preview of all of the images that are on the SD card. And by default, they're all selected. So here on the left, you can see it says that E drive is my SD card. Shows me all of the images that are there. And on the right, there's some options here. So on the right, you can select whether or not you want to build smart previews. I want to do that. So that I want to build smart previews at the start rather than build them when I start paging through. So it takes a little more time, but that's okay. Don't import suspected duplicates. This is helpful if you don't erase your memory card between shoots, so it doesn't import the same thing again. You can add it to a collection. I don't do these things. I do this. This is important. You can apply a develop preset on import, and I almost always do that. I have a generic landscape preset that applies a little bit of sharpening, applies the camera settings, and a few other things, little dehaze and so on. And so that's my generic starting point. I apply the metadata, my own copyright information, and you can put keywords on it. In this case, I'm not going to because there's quite a variety of stuff here. There's a bunch of CP trains, there's some CNs, some grain elevators. So I don't want to apply keywords across all of it because it's not going to be applicable to all the photos. And then it says, where do you want to import it to? So I want to import it to my pictures incoming is where I normally put my photos. And then click import and wait. Now the new version of Lightroom allows you to start working with the photos almost immediately because it is using the preview that's embedded in the raw file. So you can see right away that I have previews of these photos so I can have a look at them while it's importing. And so you can see, yeah, it looks pretty good. I could start culling here if I wanted to. For example, I can I'm just using my cursor keys, page through. I can say, well, this is what I was looking for. So I'm going to hit the X here, and you can see set as rejected. So it's the same thing as clicking on this flag. And so what I can start culling while we're importing. So I say, well, this one's folded, so if you really want to be clever, you can press Shift X, and it'll just immediately page to the next one, and then page around, and so on. So you can kind of see. Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. Let's get rid of this one. This is good. That's good too. So, I was trying some different things with the wind blowing. So some of them are rejects, and I knew that. Good thing for digital. One thing you'll notice on these is that here you've got this little icon in the top left corner, shows that it's using embedded preview rather than making its own preview. That's okay. You can see the copy and import is still chugging away there. I had a lot of photos, probably a few hundred. So it says 78 so far here. So we're just chugging away. There'll be some more coming in. And then, but I can still, like I said, I can work on these photos as they're coming in. Yeah, see now it's kind of gone into not responding La La Land, so hopefully it'll come back soon. There we go. Yep, so it's resumed going importing. I can also do things like I can keyword this, so I can say, okay, well, that's CP, sure, and it's a caboose. It'll eventually catch up. It's a little slow, a little sluggish. Once it gets to the end here, it's going to start building those smart previews. So my usual workflow is to start this import and then go away and have a drink or do something else in another window for the 5 minutes or so that it's going to chug away. But I just wanted to show you very briefly how I do my import. So yeah, there it's done that import, and now it's doing two operations. It's doing building smart previews, and you can see how when I applied that preset for my information, it automatically applied a copyright. And if we hop into develop mode here, I'm going to press the D for develop. What you'll see is that it's applied the generic landscape preset. And my generic landscape preset does is tweaks the shadows and highlights, adds a little clarity and dehaze, does the lens corrections, and applies a little sharpening and masking, and a tiny bit of noise reduction. So that's what my develop preset does. So, you know, if I wanted to, I could start working with this image right now, and it's still chugging away doing the smart previews. So that's real improvement of Lightroom over previous releases, where it would basically you couldn't do a thing while it was importing. It was basically hung. Here you have some chance to do editing, but in general, I generally just leave it alone until it's fully in. So I hope you like that. Leave me a comment below if you liked or didn't like this video. Appreciate your feedback, and talk to you soon.